Good morning, everybody, on this happy summer Sunday here in Maryland. I am Callie Francois with your morning line odds maker, Keith Fuso, who has definitely earned his keep today, as we have a couple of these races that are coming up quite competitive. So, Keith, how you doing this morning so
Doing
far?
well. Welcome to Wide Open Downs, as I like to call it today. This card is really tricky. From a line standpoint, it was really tough to get through. Handicapping, man, what a challenge. Yep. So, I mean, there's one or two races where you think, okay, one of these two horses have to win. Other than that, hey, spread-a-rama. Just kind of you take a horse or two, key them around two or three other horses. That's kind of the way I'm going to approach today's card. It's one of these deals, and, we're here and we're trying to talk about each race, and we want to say that we love each race. Hey, each race, brings its own challenges. Some just kind of jump off the page to you, and you're like, hey, I'm just going to go ahead and go to the window and pound away. I'm a little bit leery all the way through the card. I'm going to be honest with you. So I'm going to give you a couple horses that I like. Hopefully they kind of get in that range of 5, 6, 8 to 1. Take them, bet a couple bucks to win, and kind of dance around with some other horses in there, maybe 2 or 3 horses. Try to catch an exacta or trifecta if you can. We've got an early pick 4 for you, but really interesting card, tough card, and you come across these from a handicapping standpoint. They're frustrating at times, but even saw Dave Rodman today walking in. He says, you know what, Keith? You said for me to really look at it, and I actually liked a couple of horses. So that's good. To some people, they may really like the card, but it was a challenge.
This is one of those days where, especially today, if something jumps out at you, because I feel like there's going to be plenty of prices that are going to be going in onto today. And so with that saying, let's kick off to race number 1, this claiming 16, never win 2, short on the turf. But before we get into that, let's take a look at the turf. Where it is firm, didn't have any rain yesterday, so it's dried up very nicely. So we have a fast track to that as well. A nice, a bit of a cool day. We had a very hot day, very hot couple weeks leading up into this really beautiful summer weather.
Very comfortable this afternoon. Get out here and enjoy it if you can. And we talked about prices yesterday. We had some good prices all the way through the card for the most part. And that turf course, commenting about it, we had it labeled good. It's holding up quite well.
It is.
Managing it beautifully. You're not seeing those big divots or anything like that. It's got a little bit of give, but I from what I've seen, in past years, it's holding up as good as I've ever seen it.
Definitely. So which is great, because we do have some awesome turf races lined up, which is the first, as I said, 5.5 on the turf for the girls. Never win 2 at the claiming 16 level. Let's take a look. We both land on Sydney Sue, which I have as my price play, but for Miguel Fernandez, Angel Cruz coming in trying again back here at Laurel Park.
Value play last time, just missed there at 9 to 1, third beat in a length of 3/4. I'll come right back. We've got Angel Cruz right. Bassano didn't make the trip to ride, but she's like this Laurel turf course. Maybe waited a little bit too long to let this kind of mare just go last time out, and just had a little bit too much work to do. Hopefully Cruz can kind of get her into, into range a little bit sooner, maybe by the 3/16, and roll on by late. Again, this is like this key. I think you'll get 5 or 6 to 1.
Yep.
Who can you toss in this field? Man, I don't know if Magic and Me can really get there, but other than that, it's wide open. You're going to have or Lady Tismo is going to be a big price, but you've got La Familia going to the front, Callie, but maybe Sydney Sue, save all that ground and rally into it.
Well, and my viewpoint is that Angel Cruz can give a bit of a dirt ride on turf, so this didn't quite get that last time out. Again, I agree with you. Placing this filly a little bit more forward, that's where I think Angel's style does fit in well with Sydney Sue, especially here on the rail, just fitting her up into that. I feel like she's a filly that's really going to love the spot that Angel will potentially put her in. A big rematch race amongst several that saw each other last time out. So but all ran well, all had plenty of a bit of an excuse, so it's quite a toss-up in that race number 1. But let's kick in to race number 2 so we don't scratch our heads too much at that first race. In that allowance, a mile here on the dirt. Before we get into that, we do have Keith's early pick 4. Loving the sequence I'm seeing right now.
There you go. A little bit of a reach in race 4. We're going to see, but we go 2, 3, 4, 5. Start with a bang. Might hold a little value in there. I like Betcha by Golly getting in light in race 2. So we'll go 4 deep to get you started. Race 3. With the 2, the 3, and the 4. Emerald Lace will try to stretch out, see if she can do that today for Fennica Bentley. Race 4, there's your single. Bombaloni, really, he could be the favorite in here. I do think plenty money is going to come in for Spike Zone. It's run 2 really good races against shorter fields on what faced a total of 9 horses in each of those first 2 races, but has plenty of speed, trying the turf for Ness. But we're going to go ahead and single Bomboloni. Race 5, wrap it up. 2, 4, 11, 12, another race. Lots of ways to go. Best value in there might be Fafram, Epic Rise, second time Claudio. So there you go. I got a Tromby horse at a price in there. $24 for the early pick 4. Add if you like. You may have to.
I mean, I do. I love the way that ticket sets up. I love that sequence that you have going on here with so many of these competitive races that we're going to have going on. Some great prices I see coming at us here at Laurel today. But diving in a little bit more into this allowance and mile on the turf, you go with the number 3, Betcha by Golly, which I like at 4-1 for Georgia Andrakis. Tony Walter, commonly known as Tony on the race on the backside. Rodriguez, the Town Pond Bug, who I'm kind of a bit impressed with. I like it. I like the way he rides with his mind. So I like what he's probably going to do on this filly today.
Walter, call me Tony.
Yeah.
Rodriguez.
I only know him as Tony on the backside.
Is he Anthony, middle name, I guess? I don't know. But that's cool. All right. Well, Tony, to the front or from just off of it with Betcha by Golly. Betcha by Golly and Georgia Andrakis, the trainer's done a really nice job kind of changing styles a little bit with this filly. My key is, can she get the last 1/8 of a mile? She's grinding along at 7/8. Can we get the mile distance? A little further run down to that second wire. But, man, she's holding very good form, and I like who she keys up against. Breviary, a Acadian girl who blasted away to bury a state-bred filly mare group a few races back on her page with a big gaudy number. So she's kept the right company. I think she's going to hang around, getting in light. She'll be forward against this group. I don't see her coming from too far back. So Charming Way, here's a video horse that's got in play, right? The last 2 times beaten favorites, 3 of the last 4 actually, unfortunately for Madison Myers. But this filly's had some problems in her last couple races, Callie.
We do a video spotlight on Charming Way. We talking with Madison a little bit about this filly. She's just try hard. She's a bit hard knocking. Has had a little bit. That's enough of an excuse for that day to just completely take her out of it. But she hasn't been able to get quite into that same type of groove that she did when she first broke her maiden at that 40 level. That start after that breaking her maiden. That was a tough go. She was battling in between, but we see her here just kind of chumming along, getting it together. Was ultimately a bit too far back last time out from that gate break.
Yeah, she's kind of the early parts of the races have been her downfall. 2 races back from the rail, she kind of rushed up early, set a really honest pace. You go 11 and change for this type of group on a track that wasn't blazing, and that's quick. Just faded a little bit. Last time you saw that, sandwiched at the break after breaking a little bit slowly. She's going to have to break. Numbers have kind of gone the wrong way. She bounces back anywhere to the low 70s. She's there. Giving her one more shot to stay around. Just need her to get out of that gate.
Yep, exactly. Which is why I'm just giving her. She's just a little bit of bad racing luck, and just inconsistent racing luck. So maybe just getting her. Just needs to get a little bit. Toledo just needs to get this filly a little bit into the groove. Get a little bit more pinpointed on her. I think the distance should be no problem, especially with that. Especially with that time at that first start after breaking her maiden. I was just so impressed with that. I was more impressed with that run than her win run. So I will take I will take Charming Way on top. But we also both have a quiet imagination underneath for Tim Woolley, Horacio Caramanos on top, and we got a Tim Keefe stat that won yesterday. There's a Keith Feastel stat that won yesterday.
Did we have one? Yeah.
Did,
That was Ness. Shorter price. Man, horse got pounded late. I think down to 3-5 was like 2-1 just prior to the gates going. But anyhow, quiet imagination. Tim Woolley, he's had a really good last 90 days, folks. 6 for 21, 29%, 12 for 21 in the money with an ROI of 252. Comes out of a off-the-turf stake, restricted state, whatever you want to call it, up at Delaware. But chased Malibu Beauty. You know, it was a pretty good dirt horse, right? All the way around the racetrack, held well, 8 clear of that Russell horse, Murph. She's okay here at Laurel. She's okay at the mile distance. I think she's going to sit a little further back, mid-pack, and try to make that run. She's got a grinding style that certainly works. It's another kind of a wide-open race. I guess the 7's going to probably send from the outside, prepare for takeoff. I was a little surprised as well as she held last time. Man, she was gritty to the wire. This is a tricky little race. Hopefully Betcha by Golly can kind of stay around for me. I'll key her with a couple other horses.
Yes,
All
well,
right.
as you mentioned, I like what Georgia's doing with her as far as style and going with that. But before we kick into race number 3, I've got a pick 6 ticket
Okay.
that I wound up for you guys. Let's take a look at that very quickly. And I do go wide a bit on this race. I think I could have shaved a little bit on this race. But kicking over to race number 4, I do think we have a bit of a typo coming in for race number 5. But race number 4, I go in with the 2 and the 6. I wanted to stay a little bit safe. I went either way. I could have added a couple. I was thinking about adding just cosmicality for a little bit of fun. It was I was going to go one of two ways in that. I was going to go a little bit wider, or I thought about singling in on Bomboloni, but I think while I do think Bomboloni is going to be running so well, and we will get into that, there are some horses that do have some things to offer in that last little bit. But again, Bomboloni, your best bet, Keith. Just keep a sharp eye out for that one. A single in on the 12, Bridge to Success for Mikey Juralis. I'm taking a stab at that as my single. I know we go very, very different, a little bit different in that race. You go a bit different in that race with your value play, but gearing into a couple of these races, the 7th race in that allowance, a couple of these I'd throw in Friar Tuck as a double, and in that nightcap I could have gone a little bit wider, but of course that was an interesting race that's going to be popping up for that claiming 16. Short on the turf for these girls, so I just singled it. I just wrapped it up on the ticket of $36.
Race 8, you've got 3, 6, 12. I've got 10, 1, 13, 11.
You do. I
We're
saw
all
that.
over the map.
We are all
I think
over.
Rodman liked a couple. He liked Zola B in it. I mean,
Yep.
8th race could be and all. That race is just a mad scramble to finish it up. So hopefully you're up before you get to the last
Hopefully.
race. But that was a real head scratcher.
It is.
Let's go to the third.
Let's go into the third, where it's
All right.
a little bit less of a head scratcher. So I do land on you. Let's go in on who you land on. Emerald
Okay.
Lace for Fenica Bentley, Charlie Marquez. We did have a scratch with Circle Home
Yep.
in the Mike Trombetta horse. That's how Fenica Bentley's horse got onto my ticket. But looking back on it, just didn't have much of a break in between races prior to that last start on July 22nd.
Yeah, a little bit more here. So I think Emerald Lace is going to work out. Now, lack of lace concerns me a little bit. But the family, the mother, won at 1.5 miles. Looking at his sibling, the lone sib, I think ran like a 75 going long on the turf. So it's there. This kind of filly reminds me a little bit of a horse yesterday, Princess Palmer. You know, stretched out on the turf, was running all those sprints, was able to kind of rate, made a move, shook clear, just couldn't hold on. Emerald Lace was really, really good in debut. Just missed, got the lead, couldn't quite hold on. There's Princess Palmer. Was a little fractious in the gate as well that day.
Yes.
Came back, he said maybe a little too quick.
Right.
Quick internals, just didn't have that finishing punch. The flow will be to her liking. I think she can get the distance. So there you go. Emerald Lace, another horse that holds a little bit of value with these kind of under the radar trainers. You know, they don't get a lot. They just don't get a lot of attention. Georgia, Fenica Bentley, but today their horses they
This is a
look
day for
live.
it.
They look live.
They look live, and this is certainly a day for it. I go in on Nibbles, the Anthony Ferrier comeback on the turf, and we do have a video on Nibbles coming back up, but made a nice run for it, just finishing up as well.
Yeah.
And just was trying to put in a nice spot, just of slow pace, a lot of work to just everybody was doing the right thing at the end.
Yeah, it looked like Flimsy was going to kind of shake away. You're right. The soft fractions. Flimsy, 3 wide every step of the way, really comes back nicely through the final 1/8 of a mile. Closing in that gap, gets beat about 3 parts of a length. So, yeah, should benefit from that inside position. Certainly, we saw she can bring a finish. Is a major player in race number 3.
Yep, and then you also
Lunar Ice,
Lunar
yeah.
Ice. Lunar Ice caught my attention, especially with those blinkers on. Damon is 19% with blinkers on as a barn trend in recent starts. So he's when he throws one on and extends it, it tends to be a pretty decent combination for the Dilladovigo team.
Out of that same race with Emerald Lace, the gals race, you're right. Kind of went even on the dirt. Blinkers, it's a positive ROI kind of move. He had this move on a stretch out. Oh, the horse's name is escaping me. was the Hackerman horse.
The,
Anyhow, it doesn't
yes,
matter.
doesn't
Got
matter.
the job done to break the maiden, so little similarities there, and might hold a little bit of value as well. 4-2-3-7. Self-assured, I think, is going to go up towards the front here for Victor. He had a couple choices in here
Yep,
on the
he
overnight
did.
and goes to the 7 self-assured
Which is
off of a
interesting, I
big
think.
break.
Huge break.
But sneaky stats on riding on the go back with those kind of horses. So yeah, it could be a player for a long way in here.
I also forgot to mention Lunar Ice's gallop out. Was very, very impressed with that, which is why I left that horse underneath on my ticket. But let's kick in.
Go Chanel. Sorry, I think that was it. Was that the name of the horse?
No, Lunar Ice.
No, Go Chanel, the other Damon horse. I believe that was the winner. Anyhow.
I'm gonna trust you with that information. Okay. I was more I was focused on looking at the horses rather than who was winning it that day. We're gonna go on to race number 4, that Claiming 40, 5.5 on the turf. Never win 2 for these 3-year-olds and up. And we both land on the 2, Bomboloni, who we've been kind of gassing up a little bit. We do have a video spotlight that's coming up right now. That first time out here this is first off the claim for Dale Capuano. First of all, what a smart claim, looking at how this horse ran, especially this time out. We're about to see a little bit of traffic.
Yeah, off at 10-1 that afternoon for Stavika de Zurich, in for the 12-5. Yeah, this pinch start, check repeatedly. Just full of run in the midst of horses, and Toledo, I mean, was able to kind of somehow survive this trip. Horse and rider survived this trip, because this was as bad as you can possibly get. And then for a 12-5 maiden firster to overcome all of that adversity and just to sustain, watch this, finds a little seam here coming to the 8th pole and inhales, and I mean inhales, Bliss this, who looked gone, about 5 in front coming to mid-stretch. Look at this, straight as a string under the right-handed asking. Sustain, gets up. This is a goofy move. Dale first turf is a really low percentage. Now, he had one the other day.
Yes.
I'm going to trust in him. The barn is rolling right along. He's won race here recently with Lewis Holman. Aviles has been riding well. We see the natural speed that Bomboloni has as well. You mentioned you might have gotten on the horse.
I did.
In the morning, we'll take
a
shot here.
So I hopped on the horse a couple of weeks ago. Nicely put together horse, has a good turf foot, cool horse in general, just a very cool personality horse. But with that saying, with what he did in his first start out, with that tight incident that he had on the backside, that's the kind of situation you're going to find yourself in possibly on the turf, because they all kind of rush out of there, and if you don't have a spot, you have to get in tight. So for him to be able to do that on the dirt, if he runs into that on the turf, he's going to be able to do that no problem. And on top of that, had a nice bullet work on July 31st, so proves that he can do it. And again, I agree, this isn't a typical Dale Capuano move. He's 8% lately with his first time on the turf, but if there's a horse that's going to be able to do it just in the manner that he did it last time out, you find yourself in that situation a little bit more often than not, sometimes on the backside of these short turf sprints. So Bomboloni, based on his mind alone, the way he's built and the way he looks, just is the cherry on top, to my opinion, with Bomboloni. Both of our best bets of the day. But let's talk about something. Let's talk about a couple other horses other than Bomboloni. You go to the number 5 Marathoner at 6-1 for Maria Montoya. Charlie Marquez on top.
Yeah, I think this guy can bring a run. You see him bouncing back up from the 16 to the 40. You've got Bomboloni on a protect move, but Marathoner, it looks like he's pretty versatile, and he's keyed up against the right kind. Lower percentage trainer, hasn't won a lot of races of late, only 5%. Silvera was named. We're going to get Charlie Marquez today. But I like key horses, brings a finish. Numbers certainly work for me, because there is going to be some speed here. Cosmicality, I think, is going to go ahead and send away from the rail. Maybe he doesn't quite have the sprint speed, but might keep Spike Zone honest. This horse of Ness. So interesting little race as well. Most Perfect, I'll throw in a little sneaky price play here for Trombetta. Second Dan was a stakes winner, long on the grass. We're talking about Bomboloni's breeding. The mare only ran once. I think got to beat a couple lengths in France, and the other siblings, So, like I say, in Dale, we're going to kind of trust here with that runner
I
today.
like it. I know you don't. I love the move. I love the move to the turf for this horse. But before we get into race number 5 and go through the rest of the card, we've got a commercial for you. We will be right back.
All right.
We're ready for the start. They're off.
And go ahead and sign on to first.com/bet to get in on that $100 first bet bonus. But let's kick in to race at number 5. This maiden claiming 37 furlongs on the dirt. And let's kick in right into your value play, Keith. The number 11 for Mike Trombetta, Divine Law, coming off of a turf try, but prior to that, didn't quite get away on the dirt first time out back in December over here at Laurel.
Took play late in the year, right as a 2-year-old. Oski Wow Wow. Senator Kelly, just no run whatsoever. When bet down to 9-2. All right, comes back. Going to be a second-time gelding, right? A little bit of late life on the turf. I just think this is a horse that looks just kind of sneaky to me. First Lasix on the dirt, given that race, second off of this kind of break is a positive ROI for Trombetta. Certainly there's dirt breeding there in the family. Just a little bit of a flyer. That's kind of how you go with Tromby. Sometimes he'll just kind of sneak up and grab you. Epic Rise, another one. I was a little intrigued by the move to the turf first time off the claim, coming back to the dirt. No real drop for Claudio. Epic Rise, I think you'll see be put into the race a little sooner than it was last time. Kind of that overland trip on the turf. Let's be aggressive, Victor. Get them into contention early.
Yes, and that's my biggest caveat about Epic Rise is, will he be able to get up there? And he's proven to be able to do that if you go back in the 17th of October so shows potential for a little bit of gate speed here. I like that I do like that he still keeps a journeyman on in Victor Carrasco, who will no doubt probably be told to just do what you can as far as getting this horse up there into the lead. But you also go with number 4, Far Off From. Again, Walter Tony Rodriguez on a nice ride last time out by Tony Rodriguez.
Yeah, I was able to sit back and just save ground, close up on a track that was difficult to close on.
Right.
One America, General Strike their own. They're a little match race from the top of the stretch home, but there's Far From. Interesting horse. He's been as low as maiden 8s, as high as maiden 45s, finds himself in for a tag of 30 today. I think he wishes maybe Believe in Rock and Roll would have stayed in. That helps the 8. I don't have the 8 in there, but it does help the 8. A little assist. He rolls, wants to be forward. Will be that way with Yomar Ortiz. 11, 2, 4, 12, bridge to success. Your top selection here, huh?
So what are your let me get your take on Bridge to Success. I'm giving him a little bit. I'm just giving him that outside. I know he broke out being on the outside last time out, but we get a little bit of a drop. I feel like this horse just hasn't really had consistency with trying to go back long on the turf, then coming back short on the dirt. I like Avello on this horse. I think Avello is going to give this horse a bit of a more aggressive ride, but just I do understand that mentally and physically this horse may need another race or two, but I think he's also, again, we're turning back to the same type of race as he did last time out, and I think that's a big key element to Bridge to Success right now.
Mike does a good job, and he's really done a gangbusters with Lapidus. They win a lot of races, so they're good at when they claim their horses. This one here, I expected a little bit more last time.
Sure.
I was a little disappointed in the run. He's going to have to pick it up, avoid being hung wide every step of the way. It'd be interesting to see what kind of tactics Avello takes. But you look at the field, what's going to take? 50, low 50 to win it. So he doesn't. He kind of has to hold form or just move up just ever so slightly to win. So that's how wide open of a race it is. But yeah, I expected more last time, just didn't get it. We'll see what happens today.
Fair enough. Race number 6 is maiden claiming 45, 5.5 on the turf. You go with the number 1 on the inside on the rail for Dale Bennett. Haley B with Sheldon Russell taking the reins.
Yeah, Haley B. I mean, In Vain's going to be an awfully short price. Another one, second off of this kind of break. Bennett does well. Taurus topside, okay turf. You couldn't find a whole lot on the bottom at all, if any at all. But there's speed there. I like the win. I mean, the run last time out, closed in behind Les Colvin and came back to gallop. Looks like, I think, if anybody's going to maybe upset the apple cart of In Vain getting blinkers on, this might be the one. Should sit a trip. Better Call Mama's quick. In Vain's going to kind of have to worry about that one, chasing that one around the front. Give you a firster, though. The trainer doesn't win a lot, right? Tim Keefe, what you're talking about. The barn's winning a little bit of late. Breeding, I like these A-Sterns on the turf. The 6 following a win. Bottom side, Desi Dorado. Well, she's the mom of a really good horse. Everything lovely. Stakes winner, allowance type, always right there in multiple stakes placed. Was fast sprinting on the turf. This is one of these horses that might be okay.
Might
Watch
be.
this one. Help your price in the exacta and triples. But all the money's going to be around in vain. Lady Moser ran quite well, too, with trouble last time out.
She did. She did. I left her off my ticket. Just wanted a little bit of more of a hope. But let's kick on to race number 7.
Yep.
This allowance 6 furlongs on the dirt for the boys 3 and up. You go in on Magic. You go for Magic Mule for this race.
It's just not a good relationship, me and Magic Mule. We just don't get together. I try every time. I ended up Magic Mule. I'm looking.
Right.
He did not run well last time, but any of his prior 2 or 3 races, I think, can get him over the top. We've got a short field, scratch the one. Commissioner G, the pace is going to be hot. He's just got to come out of the gate a little bit better than he has in recent races. If he does, he'll be poised to sit just off of him, maybe around mid-turn. Doesn't have to deal with a lot of traffic today. Might get over the top. They're going to be rolling early. Romanski is quick. Mo Honey, really good debut. We've got video of that one. We'll show it, right?
Yep. Let's go
for
ahead
Benny
and show it now.
Feliciano. Benny might take the late double. He's live here in the late double. But look at this one. Money showed for the Uncle Mo. Broke a little slow. Hustled up.
There.
Gets the lead and just kind of controls it from start to from a few yards after the start, right? To the finish, and it's a big kind of a burly kind of look like a sprint type, right?
Yep.
Yeah, look at that build, like a barrel going to run through a brick wall for you, and just cruising home for Caramanos. That field is not this field.
Correct.
That's the key. So we're going to see. He's going to have to really have his running shoes on. Had something left in the tank there. Rominski, he's going to have to deal with.
It helps Mo Honey that he has the outside post. So
yes,
because that's the biggest thing is this horse will be getting some pressure. Will this horse be able to handle it? But gets a little bit of reprieve being on the outside. Shouldn't have to deal with any of that outside pressure. Should all go well.
Yeah, I'm rooting for these. You got group of people. They had a blast. There was a slew of people in the winner's circle for this guy last time I can remember. That's what you'll want in the game.
Absolutely.
So you're pulling for owners like that. So yeah, that was a strong debut. See if he can follow it up. Would not surprise me if he wins. I'll take Magic Mule maybe from just off the pace, but hey, I'm not going to be disappointed if the 6 wins it.
Definitely not. But let's kick into our nightcap of the day, 5.5 on the turf. This claiming 16. Never win 3. We go completely different on this, so I'm going to go ahead. Let's give you, and this is kind of a race to go completely different on. I couldn't quite figure this out, but Bound for Broadway, Mike Trombetta, Johan Rosado getting in the irons for the first time today. Mike Trombetta 20%, second after the layoff.
Yeah, that was just a much faster group. Fast Lonnie is really, really fast. Needed the race. Maybe against that type. Certainly was not going to get it done comparatively even to future tries. So this is back to reality for Bound for Broadway to sit kind of a little bit closer by the turn, hopefully rally into and get it done. This is kind of a little bit of a reach all the way around for me. I like the way Bullet's Lady ran last time. It was really game. Has proven to be okay sprinting. Thais Lapastina will be able to kind of sit there, save ground, maybe kind of get a little bit covered up around the turn, brings a punch late. But 10, 1, 13, 11, 4, 3, 6, 12. Guys, box them all if you can. Go ahead.
Box them all if you can. I actually did. I didn't hit up my team, but I do have. It's going to be 3, 6, 12, 4. But I was on Zola B, and Zola B was actually a pretty good price play for me until I saw that run on the 3rd of August at Parks. So that does concern me a little bit because I understand this filly when she was in Jerry O'Dwyer's barn back in the day, and I feel like this filly likes a little bit of time in between races, so I'm not loving that August 3rd run in general. So I'm going to put a little bit more focus on Oil on Canvas from Madison Myers. I thought that was a nice, little bit of, not quite a light switch, but helpful enough. Last time out, gets a little bit of time running on the 19th of July, but a nice late gain that last time out. Really, Madison had some good things to say about her when I stopped at the barn a couple of weeks ago.
That's the Rod Dog exacta, Dave Rodman, 4-3-3-4 on the box. You throw in, I was talking about the 13 Hot Choice. Ran well with trouble on the drop last time. Sprint's the major concern. If things do get really blistering up front with a contested, I do think she's going to be flying late. She may just roll right over the top.
Fair enough.
Her freight gears certainly work against this group. He had a horse algebraic, right? David Howard run a bang-up race yesterday.
He did. He did. He certainly did. But let's see who we're going to find out who else runs a bang-up race. But first, let's kick on to lightning round. Wanted to bring up a couple of things.
All right.
This pace is on for this jockey training title. We've got William Humphrey coming back off of a nice resurgence with some 2 lovely, lovely rides. Both for Norman Cash coming in with some nice prices. Rode very smart and finished up very beautifully. We got Carlos Lopez, who finished well on both for Capuano that day with drive by layover and stay out. And then we've got Caramanos, who ran very, very well also in race number 4 with the Robert Wolf with Papal Law in race number 4, and then finishing nice for Bob Caceres with Evangelina Lone in race number 8. But a nice day it was a good riders race day yesterday.
Yeah, trainer's doing well. Cash, Capuano, but Humphrey. After that little fall incident down, right, it was a Colonial.
Yes.
On Nathan Detroit, if I'm not mistaken. That was a good ride yesterday.
Great
Took a
ride.
firm hold early, saved ground, cut the corner in the lane, got out in the clear. Boy, that horse leveled off beautifully to get up and run down the Dale horse.
Very smart rider.
So that was a good ride.
Yeah, very good ride. Another one who's been doing well as far as wins, but not a rider, but a trainer, Dale Capuano, has been going well. We see Vance Scholars winning, but 2 wins yesterday, 1 win last Sunday, and 2 on last Saturday. Of course, Vance Scholars, August, treating Dale very, very well so far.
Right.
Especially, yeah. So speaking of trainers, let's kick into jockey trainer standings, where we start with the trainers race. We've got Claudio and Rudy tied at 18 wins. Both have a couple in today in decent spots. Dale Capuano not far behind. Let's see if August keeps loving on him. And then we have Jerry Robb and Damon DeLudovico at a nice, solid 11 wins for the summer meet so far.
Yeah, good race all the way through. Rudy Sanchez-Solomon throwing a little bit more out there than Claudio. A little surprise, so nip and tuck right down to the wire.
Right down.
End it next week.
And another one that's down to the wire is the jockey standings as well. We've got Toledo, Caramanos hotly contested behind, 3 behind at 26, and Barbosa, the bug, still at 22, recovering from a little bit of a tough early summer that he had. But Jean Avello losing his bug and still going in the first top 5 in the jockey standings. Very, very impressive. And Yana Viles riding well very recently to tie with him for 3rd.
Viles, he's definitely improving, no doubt, getting some live mounts. Alvello showing he's been able to stick around, which is a tough thing for the Bugs to do when they lose. The apprentice riders lose that.
Yep.
So, yeah.
So well done to Alvello for still keeping on and getting them home, losing that bug title. But let's kick in to your best bet. Let's go over again to your best bet and value play again so far. Bomboloni in race number 4 for Dale Capuano.
A lot of weight to carry. Bomboloni, very impressive after all of that trouble in debut. Can handle the jump up, the transition to surface. So we're asking a lot. There's no doubt about it, but I'll give him a chance after that debut run. Value play, 5th race, the 11 Divine Law. There was a lot of ways to go for that value play pick.
Yes.
So most of the picks we had had some value along the way. But Divine Law, first Lasix on the dirt. I think this horse might be able to rally into it.
Sneaky Trombetta, as Keith Fustel calls it,
Tromby.
but that's a value play. Let's check in with Dave Rodman for changes and scratches.
All right, good luck.